Hello, it is I, Merlinstergandaldore. So, it seems I have fallen behind. Time passes differently here in the Soul Gem. But in the Old School Essentials campaign, time marches on, and the adventures continue, with or without us. So, let's catch up, shall we? As is my custom, the session shall be recapped using the Order of the Stick Monster for Every Season cutout minis. Today's players. New regular player Vahid joins in as Flyder, Lawful Ranger. Guest player Rhiannon as Graxley Nogbottom, Lawful Halfling. And special guest player.
Hi, I'm Scott of BS Games, and I'm going to be playing Senek, the Lawful Cleric.
In the dead of winter, 3 newcomers at the keep arrive. Gren the Frowning is at his usual spot at the gate, unhappy with the cold, but doing his duty. He gets the names of these newcomers for the census and asks their business. Graxley states that he's seeking a fellow Hin named Bumblestump, while Senek states his affiliation with the Church of Fultus. Unwilling to divulge his real name, the ranger simply gives the alias Flyder. Inside, Flyder heads to the Traveler's Inn to start talking up locals for information, while Graxley accompanies Senek to the church where he can make contact with the curate Josiah. At the church, Josiah is not around, but a strangely familiar-looking acolyte named Kevin warmly greets Senek and Graxley. Talking Kevin up, the duo learn of some recent happenings at the keep, including the discovery of the Warrens and enemy priest of Leogzed posing as a priest of Auril. Senek spends some time in prayer before leaving to rejoin Flyder. Graxley remains, but is bored and annoyed. Flyder finds himself in a busy inn, and has made the acquaintance of Smith, Horace, and Tom. An offering of beer and conversation, as well as a good reaction roll, has the 3 talking to Flyder about various rumors, including the deathly fear bugbears have of dwarves, that even a single dwarf will send a clan of bugbears fleeing for their lives. The group of strangers talks in hushed tones about Lady Sylvia, who may have been kidnapped by humanoids of the Caves of Chaos. Flyder feels that it seems odd that Lady Sylvia, a well-known and loved Karamakos noblewoman, would find herself this far into the frontier, to which a clarification is made that the rumor they heard was that a fair maiden was being held hostage in the caves. But Lady Sylvia has reportedly gone missing of late, and it could be her. Flyder the Ranger immediately thinks that this must be addressed, just in case. Senek and Graxley arrive from the church and join in the conversation. The PCs, feeling that the 3 of them wouldn't be enough, they offer terms of employment to the 3 mercenaries, including full shares and advance on equipment, which they must reimburse from their spoils. A most generous offer indeed, but a medium reaction roll, even with a bonus, prompts further negotiation. The 3 men ask for the gear provided, plus a signing bonus of 10 Karamakos Royals. The group rejects this offer and searches elsewhere for more mercenaries. Speaking with Javier, the barkeep, they soon learn that the bustling tavern is mostly unskilled and non-combat types, and the only mercs he knows of are the 3 they were talking to. This being the result of the standard 50% chance of D4+1 mercs from the Keep on the Borderlands module. The group renegotiates, and a high reaction roll wins over the 3, who ultimately agree that full shares is very reasonable. They head out the next day to the caves, hoping to find evidence of Lady Sylvia's kidnapping. At the Valley of the Caves, Flyder's tracking skills reveal that a massive gathering of cave denizens happened recently in the valley. Flyder spots kobold tracks, which they decide to track back to the lair, feeling that if trouble occurs, kobolds are likely an easier fight. Entering the lair, they creep forward. Flyder notes the mud that has been created as the snow melts and leaves obvious marks in the dirt floor. At a T-junction, he points out that the tracks hug the wall. The group also does so, but 6 kobolds emerge and throw javelins at the team, killing Horace. Retaliating, the team kills one of the 6, as the others flee deeper into the cave and raise the alarm. Pushing forward and hugging the wall, the team comes to another junction. Sounds of kobolds rallying doesn't seem to faze the group. Flighter is examining the floor, hoping his tracking skill will yield more information, but alas, nothing. From the darkness, kobold voices bark some inhuman gibberish at the team. They prepare to back out of the cave when a guttural voice in common addresses them, inviting them to stay and parley. Curious, Senek agrees, and a single kobold steps forward waving a soiled white cloth. The kobold offers shiny metal discs that humans like in exchange for them killing the goblins in a nearby cave. They hate goblins, but humans have come and killed much of the goblin tribe. When asked how many goblins remain, the kobold's inability to count makes their assertion of 5 somewhat suspect, but the group is nonetheless piqued. Senek asks if any kobold warriors will accompany, which prompts a favorable reaction roll, gaining them D4 plus 1 kobolds. A total of 5 is rolled. With their unlikely allies, the group crosses over to the goblin cave. The kobolds point to an adjacent cave entrance, and mention that once an ogre lived in that cave and the goblins paid him to protect them, but humans came and killed the ogre. Senek convinces the kobolds to enter first, as they can see in the dark, and scout ahead to find out where the goblins might be. They agree to this and head in. Shortly thereafter, a surprise check sees the kobolds caught and killed in an ambush. Senek calls into the cave, hoping to open conversation with the goblins, but the DM rolls a 20% chance for each of the 6 goblins to know the common tongue, and none of them speak it, so only gibberish is returned. They toss a torch in, and see movement fleeing deeper into a tunnel. The group decides to move in and engage. 2 goblins have moved down one tunnel, while the other 4 have run to the goblin leader to alert him. Flighter and Senek stand at the end of one tunnel and fire at the 2, while Graxley and the 2 retainers guard the other hallway. Missile fire is exchanged, Senek getting nicked by a javelin while he and Flighter miss with their shots. Flighter next opts to charge into melee, while Graxley and the retainers spot a group of goblins approaching. Flighter kills his goblin with a massive blow. The goblins kill Tom with javelins while Smith engages. Graxley's exceptional skill with the bow mitigates the penalty for shooting into melee, and he kills a goblin. The goblin chief emerges with his personal guard, all dressed in chainmail. Smith takes a hit but survives. The group withdraws to fight from cover while Flighter switches back to his bow. Moving into the hallway with a dead end, the near end of a previous group to enter this very cave, Graxley and Senek ready their bow and sling respectively, waiting for a target to appear. The goblins pen them in while the chief taunts the stupid humans for being so easily trapped. Bowfire and slings minorly injure a bodyguard, but Senek also takes blows. Senek attempts to parley and cease hostility, lying to the goblin leader about how they were slaves of the kobolds and forced into this fight.
That's definitely a mark against a lawful character.
But luckily for him, he mentions his hatred of the hobgoblins and desire to end their menace. This is the magic word, as the goblins also hate the hobgoblins and prompts a reaction roll yielding a roll of 11, meaning the goblin leader is willing to listen. A parley ensues, and Senek convinces the goblin to let them go and get more forces to attack the hobgoblins, to which the goblin chief promises to take them to the secret entrance to the hobgoblin lair. Senek inquires whether they will join them on the fight, but the goblin simply repeats that he'll take them to the secret entrance, to which Senek again strongly suggests, so they can fight together, and then the goblin repeats that he will take them to the secret entrance. As another condition of their release, they must leave their fallen so that the goblins can feast on their flesh in victory. Senek does convince the goblin to allow them to take their weapons and armor. The goblin offers Senek the goblin fallen, as they have earned them for their own victory feasts. But Senek politely declines and tells them that they may keep their honored dead. The goblin is pleased and says the blood of their fallen brethren will garnish the flesh of the human meat. The team immediately departs while the getting is good, and returns to the keep, where they ponder how they'll deal with this situation. The session ends there.
These 2 players had full interactions with the offerings of the module. First, when hiring the mercenaries, and then later, when entering not 1, but 2 caves of chaos. Brave fellows indeed.
While the humanoids of the caves have formed a loose alliance, clearly it is a tenuous one at best. With the kobolds hating the goblins and the goblins hating the hobgoblins, it's clear that the scheming creatures can be worked against one another. The question is, what will various groups at the keep do with this information? The results of previous excursions have had impact here. The goblin numbers are thinning out due to players constantly harassing them, which has led to the kobolds wishing to take advantage of the situation. Senec Christ's attempts to lie and manipulate the goblins prompted a mild chiding from the DM, as Senec is a cleric of Foltis, and as an ambassador of honor and law, he needs to live up to a higher standard. In a quick aside, the DM reminds him of this, to which he responds that good people can lie. And the DM states that while, yes, good people aren't forcibly barred from lying, it still remains an act that will grate at the moral person and his behavior to be avoided. At this point, young Rhiannon declares that being good is hard.
Yes, being good certainly can be, but the rewards are undeniably profound.
Don't listen to the wizard, minions. Look where being good has gotten him. In any case, the group managed to talk their way out of a TPK against the goblins and fled back to the keep. A lesson learned in the dangers that await them at the Caves of Chaos. I love this scenario for exactly this reason. There are so many possibilities for the way excursions can go down. Choosing to go all murder hobo and kill anything you see can backfire horribly. But despite being denizens of chaos, they are still sentient creatures with motivations and interests that can be discovered and exploited. Vahid's choice of PC introduced the first Ranger into the campaign, the Old School Essentials Advanced Ranger, which was chosen by Neil, who plays Onion Bun's Bumblestump, when he reached level 2 at the end of the last session. It's already proving to be an immensely useful class by virtue of the tracking skill alone. But then, that's the bread and butter of the Ranger class in any edition, really. The new players joining the roster will certainly make for some robust combinations of excursion forces. Vahid, who plays Flyder, has joined the group as a new regular, while Scott and Rhiannon will come and go semi-regularly as schedules permit. Scott himself is a game designer with BS Games, link in the description, and has crafted a fun, wizardly-themed, card-based math game called Math Magician's Duel. Take a look if that sort of game tickles your cantrip.
So, my friends, winter at the keep on the Borderlands lingers, but the adventures continue as brave souls come and go. Tune in next time as Onion Buns returns and the two sharpshooting halflings compete to see who's better. And with that little tease, I shall bid you anon.